All right, so we're going to begin with the side of my tractor here, okay? I like to work my way from top to bottom, okay? So starting out, I'm going to go ahead and start out with a general overview. I don't see anything cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. All my lights, lenses, and reflectors are not cracked, damaged, or loose. They are clean and of proper color. I'm going to go ahead and take a look underneath the vehicle. Okay, I'm going to make sure I don't see anything leaking, at least especially underneath the fuel tank. All right, so now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to check my window. I want to make sure that my window goes up and down, which it does. Okay, my window isn't cracked, damaged, or loose. Okay, and it's clean. Make sure it's working properly. Okay, and it is. Now I'm going to check my door. I want to make sure that I have the proper weather sealing. Okay, on both sides. I want to make sure it opens and closes properly. Okay, and it does, and it has a nice, good seal to it. Everything's good there. My mirror, it's not cracked, damaged, or loose. Okay, it's properly adjusted. Okay, and it's properly mounted. My steps, I want to make sure that my steps are not cracked, damaged, or loose. I want to make sure there's nothing on there that's going to cause me to trip, any debris, anything like that. Okay, now we do have the fuel tank covered. Okay, so the only thing I really can check, I can stick my head in here. Okay, make sure that the straps aren't cracked, damaged, or loose, which they don't look to be. Okay, I'm going to pop the cap off. Okay, I'm going to make sure I have my safety chain. Okay, I'm going to make sure I have my rubber grommet. Make sure none of that's cracked, damaged, or loose. Okay, everything seems to be in good shape. Let me make sure that the fuel tank cap is tight. Okay, we already looked underneath, make sure it wasn't leaking. All right, let's keep on rolling back. All right, so now I've come to the back of the tractor. Okay, general overview, I don't see anything cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. Okay, all my lights, lenses, and reflectors are not cracked, damaged, or loose. They are clean and proper color. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and come in here to my airlines. Okay, I want to make sure my airlines are properly suspended. Okay, I'm going to check them on the back of my tractor and make sure that they are properly tight, properly secure. Okay, which they are. I'm going to make sure that my electrical plug, okay, I'm going to make sure that it's properly tight. I'm going to pull it out. Okay, I'm going to check my pins, make sure I don't have any debris down in there. I'm going to make sure none of my pins in here are bent. Okay, and they're not. I'm going to make sure that I secure that back to the tractor. Okay, everything's good there. Now we're going to come over here to our glad hands. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to pop these off. Okay, we're going to check our grommets. Okay, you want to make sure none of those have any abrasions, bumps, or cuts on them. Okay, those are in good shape. Both sides. All right, those are in good shape. We'll put those back on here. Check both sides. Okay, as you can see, that one's a little bit out of shape there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fix that one. Okay, sometimes they just get caught in that hole right there. You just want to kind of smooth them back out. That one's good to go now. Okay, and that one in there is good. So I'm going to put that one back on. Good to go there. Okay, now I'm going to check my plug on this side. Okay, as you can see, all my pins are nice and straight. Nothing wrong with those. I'm going to check down in my prong here, make sure I don't see anything, any debris or anything. Everything looks good. We'll secure that back. Everything's good there. All right, now I'm going to come into some of the parts here. Okay, I want to make sure that my splash guard here, make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or loose. Everything's secure. All right, my frame through here, make sure none of that's cracked, damaged, or loose. All right, my cab mounts, cab shocks, everything seems to be good there. Okay, my exhaust down here, I want to make sure that my exhaust is not cracked, damaged, or loose. Everything's secure there. All right, my drive shaft. I'm going to make sure that my drive shaft is not cracked, damaged, or loose. Okay, I'm going to make sure that there's no excessive play in it. Okay, everything seems to be tight on that. I'm going to check my U-joints, front and rear, and make sure none of that's cracked, damaged, or loose. Okay, make sure it's all properly greased. Make sure none of this shows any signs of any excessive wear. All right. Now, for the sake of this exercise, we're only going to inspect one of the axles here on the rear of the tractor. Okay. If we were going to do both, I would go ahead and inspect this axle from this position. Okay, but for sake of the video, we're going to go around back and we're going to inspect this rear axle. Okay, for the sake of the video. My bulkhead is not cracked, damaged, or loose. No holes in it. Everything looks good on my bulkhead. All right, so let's go ahead and come around the rear. Okay, now what I'm going to look is I'm going to look at all my coupling components. Okay, I want to check my side skirt all the way down. Make sure my side skirt isn't cracked, damaged, or loose. It's in good condition. Okay, we're going to look up underneath here. This is my apron right here. Okay, I want to make sure that my apron isn't cracked, damaged, or loose. It doesn't have any waves in it. I want to make sure that there's no gap between my apron and my skid plate. The skid plate is the top of my fifth wheel. You always want to make sure that that's properly greased, okay? So that's properly greased. There is no space between there, okay? I'm looking at my fifth wheel as a whole. I want to make sure no parts on it are cracked, damaged, or loose. My locking handle is in the lock position, okay? And it's not cracked, damaged, or loose. I want to make sure my pin here in the middle is not cracked, damaged, or loose. All my mounting bolts, I want to make sure all my mounting bolts are not cracked, damaged, or loose. Okay, they're all present, upper and lower. All right, and I want to make sure that my sliding fifth wheel pins are in the lock position. Now, when we talk about sliding fifth wheel, okay, we need to make sure that these pins are in the proper position to where the rear of our tractor is not going to rub our landing gear when we make turns. Okay, so we need to make sure that our pins are in the correct position. Okay, now let's go ahead and head around the rear of the tractor.